Welcome, my beautiful souls. Today we are going to do what I call collective reading. One of the main reasons I'm doing this is I am inviting a new deck into our family, and it's called the Guardian Angel Messages Tarot. So I don't know, they called out to me, so I haven't bought a deck of cards in quite a while. But they called out to me. So what I'm going to do is I have them all pre-shuffled. But how I like to break in a new deck is by doing an actual reading to see what it wants to tell us. Um, you can trust in your spiritual team in this type of reading, like, because I'm leaving it open. I'm going to let it tell us whatever story it wants to tell us. And I would say just trust your guides. First of all, I feel like if you're here, chances are you're meant to be here. Um, but again, we're leaving it open. Love, life, whatever we need to know. And we will be using, again, the Guardian Angel Messages Tarot for our main spread. Okay, let's put that aside. And when I ordered them, I got a calendar, which I thought was just going to be it was free. I thought it was a calendar you just hang on your wall, but it's actually quite beautiful. So every day has different affirmations, and it's called I Can Do It 2025 calendar, Louise Hay. And makes sense. I get most of my cards from hayhouse.com. But anyway, so let's read what it says for today. Oh wait, no, I'm gonna read yesterday's because I planned on doing your this reading yesterday. Um, but I don't know, something came up. So today is the right day, but I felt like I want to leave yesterday's message. So let's see. I choose to create a good income for myself. I listen to happy, successful people and work for the highest interest of all concerned. Okay. And then today, I support my sense of worth and I increase my ability to attract abundance into my life. So this is today's. This was yesterday's. And I think I'll read one every day. And then you can just tear it out. So I'm keeping them because there's something I'll probably do with them afterwards, but I am going to take them off the table. All right. So again, this is for the collective. How will you know it's for you? You should feel it. I have already invited in my spirit guides who then invite in your spirit guides. That's why I feel like a lot of times you don't even know how you ended up here, but everything you needed to hear is right here. So trust your spiritual team. They know what they're doing. You do not walk alone. It's interesting. I just got a comment from someone who talked about Archangel Michael, like truly saving her life. Um, and she realized from that day forward that she never walks alone. Well, none of us walk alone. So it's important to keep that in mind, knowing that you have this whole spiritual team trying to help you, send you signs, giving you guidance, illuminating your path. You know, Sometimes it takes us time to really trust in that. That's okay. No judgment. It's like when you do, you do. Um, okay, so I'm kind of excited to get into this reading. So let's go ahead and begin. We will give Mother Mary the honor of opening up our reading. We will use the Gilded Tarot to clarify. Actually, what I was looking for is another deck to use for clarifying. Even though I love this deck for clarifying, really to go deeper. But I landed on this deck instead. It really, really called to me. And that is the only time I buy tarot decks. Like they have to call to me. We will use the major arcanas for like bullet points, see, you know, what's happening. I feel like what they do is they give us a nice clue of what the reading is going to be about. Um, Talks about the energy that would best suit us to take on. And then I feel like, and then the story develops. You know, have patience because I feel like the silver lining is usually at the end of the reading. But that would only make sense because this is a journey. So, anyways, let me get one more drink of coffee. Slide this over here. And let's start with Mother Mary. I'm going to bring the lid down. And again, everything is always pre-shuffled. And this is for all people. I just call it the collective. All right. Just want to give it one shuffle, see if anything else wants to come out. Wow. Okay. All right. So we have integrity. I trust my ability to know what is true for me. Integrity. I trust my ability to know what is true for me. And then we have sobriety. My clear mind is easily able to focus and concentrate. You know, I feel like when we get this card, yes, it is a reminder, you know, well, I just feel like you go further on a clear head, with a clear mind. Um, but I feel like there's a reason why, you're asking to it, like they're asking you to have a clear mind. I feel like it's talking about guidance coming your way. And they just want to make sure you're going to be able to pick up on the signs. And then we have forgiveness. Forgiveness. Difficult energy, but can truly be life saving. I am willing to release old resentments so that I may enjoy my life. I'm willing to release old resentments so that I may enjoy my life. Okay. Um, and with forgiveness, I don't feel like you have to like pick up a phone. I mean, you could write a letter, but I don't feel like you even have to be in contact with whoever it is well, let's just say would serve you to forgive. You're not forgiving their actions. You know what I mean? Like, you're just no longer willing to carry that energy. You're not going to allow it to affect the rest of your life. All right. An unstored or stored unforgiveness um, definitely plays a number on us. All right, we have the chariot. Beautiful. Card of Cancer. This is about unlimited potential. Look at the beautiful rainbow behind the person. This chariot is moved by your intentions, not by the reins of the horse. You tell the chariot where you want to go. And it really, like, it tells you don't limit yourself because you're made of unlimited potential. The chariot does require balance, the feminine, the masculine, the light, the dark. And then it's like, let's go. Some of you could be a little, like, literally a car, or you're jumping in your car. We have the Empress. Beautiful. I always love seeing the Empress in a reading, because I do feel like majority of you are the Empress. The Empress is, it's interesting because it makes sense with Mother Mary's energy also, right? The Empress definitely trusts her ability to know what's true for her. There's no doubt. Like that's the one thing the Empress is really honed in on is her intuition, is her connection to above, so to speak. I say above, but it's like they're right there, right? But she knows that and she's able to connect to that energy. She's someone who's very creative, loving, nurturing, powerful. This way you don't have to worry about love if you're in the Empress's energy because, you're not going to fear it because your intuition will let you know anything, really. This is the mother figure. She's sitting with this beautiful bounty on her lap, and it's from her ideas. It's her creativity that's creating this bounty. We have justice, card Libra, and then we have beautiful the magician mirroring the chariot. Wow, that's special. And I'll tell you why. The magician is the reminder to the fool, which we really are all the fool. The fool just means that there's, chances are there's a new beginning in something because I feel like the chariot is taking you somewhere, whether literally or figuratively. I can't say the word now. You know what I mean? Um, but the magician teaches the fool you possess all the gifts. Like you already have what you need to truly be successful on this next journey. And it's a reminder that you have these beautiful mentors, your angels, your archangels, your spiritual team, your guidance. They're all part of this journey with you. When you really believe that, I feel like that's when you really start manifesting. Now, the magician is looking back at justice. Justice can talk about karma, can certainly talk about the law. Some may be becoming like single parent. But listen, if that's the case, I don't feel anything here where I feel sad about it. Like I'm not feeling sadness. If anything else, I feel like I have things I want to do. I have things I want to accomplish. I have places I want to go. And, chances are, especially with the chariot, because it needs balance to become that unlimited potential. Well, justice is really what gives you that balance by using that sword of justice. So you can use it on anything. Sometimes it's our own thought system. Like here, I feel like what your spiritual team is saying, you're made of unlimited potential. The only limit is what our human mind puts upon it. Well, for some of you, those are those thoughts that you're cutting out. Hmm, sorry about that. I know some of you listen to this on a podcast and you probably have headphones on, so I'm sorry about that. All right, let's go ahead and give us a couple shuffles. Again, these have been shuffled and shuffled and shuffled, but I always love shuffling with you here. It is a big deck. That's the only thing I don't love. Of course, I feel like, it's going to look good on camera though. But for these tiny hands, it's like harder to hang on to them. All right. So let's go right below this and let's just go deeper. Let's see where the magician and the chariot are taking us. Let's see what energy maybe we're cutting out, but it's really so that you have balance. The one thing about justice is it can talk about karma. but it can talk about good karma. Like, especially with the Empress right there. I'm sure there's some good karma that has been earned. And maybe that's the path that you are now traveling on. It's interesting. Something I read, I don't know if this is the truth, but something just came across my screen um, was that there are no planets for the next 3 weeks in retrograde. Everything is direct. Wow, we've been in retrograde with quite a few planets for a while. So, to me, that feels like an opportunity, like, I don't know, like, I feel like an opportunity to shine. All right. And by the way, a lot of these I haven't even seen the images of, like, I shuffle them face down because I like seeing them when you see them for the first time. So, okay, well, we have the Ace of Swords. I don't know why his head is down. Here it says inspiration, communication, adjustments. I don't know why the kid looks like down about that sword. Why? Why? Maybe someone was waiting for communication. Maybe it didn't come in. Interesting. We have the Five of Cups. Um, we might as well read what's on the card. Disappointment, regret, forgiveness. So the Five of Cups. Anytime you see five, it's about a change. And in the Five of Cups, it's, where one's focus is at. So one's focus is definitely on those cups. It's like, don't cry over spilt milk. But I know it's much more deeper than that. But the moral of this story is that when this person decides, you know what, I'm not going to keep focusing on what's gone wrong, on what's been knocked over. I'm going to start thinking about my future and the potential of what lies out there. And when they do this, there's two cups. Well, here they are up on the table here, right by a gallon of milk or half a gallon of milk. Interesting. I don't know why I'm saying interesting. So that might be why this person feels down even though they're carrying the sword. All right, keep going. We have the Ten of Fire. This is the Ten of Wands. Overworked, stressed, imbalanced. Wow. I often feel in the Ten of Wands that subconsciously, someone is wishing for a tower. Because it is the energy of feeling like it's too much. But as I'm saying that, I feel like someone may subconsciously be wishing for a tower. Well, justice is right above that. So I feel like there's something I can do. I feel like for some of you, like, I feel like you've been through it. Like, you have been through it. I feel like someone maybe didn't reach out that you had hoped would reach out. I feel like all the responsibility feels like it's on your shoulders. Hmm. I'm just looking at the house and I get it. Like working full time, keeping the house. I mean, it reminds me of when my kids were young, working full time, coming home, having to cook dinner, clean the house, help the kids with their homework, get the kids in bed, get my shower, go to bed, get up and do it all again tomorrow. You know what I mean? Um, so it just doesn't feel like at this moment you feel like you're in a great place. But let's keep going. We have the Two of Pentacles, so you're making a decision. Should I stay or should I go? Well, I kind of feel like you want to go. You don't have to. There's a couple things we want to look at. First of all, the Five of Cups is about focusing on what you have lost. There's a beautiful archangel's energy right behind that. And in the Ten of Wands, it's too much anyway. I feel like if I'm waiting for someone to call, to reach out, to communicate, but it's not happening, then I feel like just be honest with yourself. Because if it has anything to do with love, it doesn't mean your days of loving are over. Maybe just with one particular person. But this really represents soulmates, not what's fallen. Could have certainly been karmic. So, Two of Pentacles, balance, prioritize, playfulness. I've never seen that with the Two of Pentacles. I feel like it's about using a logical mind. This person looks like they're walking a tightrope, finding that true balance. It seems to be a theme going on about balance. Like the more balanced you feel, the more balanced your life will be. But the thing is, I feel like something's changing here. Something's changing because it's putting you in a question mode with the magician right above it. Okay, well, let's keep going. We have, dang it, the Ten of Swords. And then look at this transformation. Realization, life change, liberation. It's exactly what it is. Now it's coming under the Five of Cups. It is a card of Scorpio, by the way. But it is allowing, and look what's right before it, the Ten of Swords. I mean, endings, recovery, and then freedom. Recovery, sobriety. Some of you that may ring a bell. But listen, the Death card wants to put all that behind you. You know, like, oh, the cards that are coming out, that Five of Cups, focusing on what I've lost, that Ten of Wands, overworked, overstressed, too much is on my shoulders. Ten of Swords, it's like, it could be a repeat pattern with someone. I feel like simply the reason why, because usually the Ace of Swords is something that we're looking forward to, but that doesn't look like we're looking forward here. That's why I'm feeling like someone didn't reach out and communicate in the way that I thought. Something probably didn't turn out the way that you thought. But listen, maybe if it's relating to love, because the Five of Cups, it's an emotional issue. But it's really the only one that's of an emotional issue. Um, Boy, do I feel like you need to use the sword of justice here. I feel like it feels like I just have to realize not everyone's going to be on my side. Not everyone's going to love me in the way that I deserve. That does not mean that there's not someone out there who will. That doesn't mean that if there's changes being almost forced upon you, I can look at it at one or two ways. Like maybe, just maybe, this is changing my life so I can truly be happy. and free. The Empress, she's not the one who carries this energy. She may had, she may have in the past. Because if you think of the Empress, I think she has walked the path of all the queens. So she's a lot of wisdom, a lot of experiences. And trust me, many of them were very difficult. But who can get through? The Empress. And it takes a while to realize that, okay, I have this energy naturally within me. I just need to find it. I need to pull it out. I need to let what wants to end end. Integrity. Again, it's like if I've been waiting for this communication, but listen, and then the Ten of Swords under that, it's like, okay, so let's say this communication did come in. Well, it feels like I would just repeat that pattern and it would still end up in, well, let's just say, I feel like you would still end up in, well, it feels like a state of sadness, confusion almost. I feel like saying, be careful that you're not giving your energy to the wrong people. You know what I mean? Like, if you know your worth, as the Empress does, and she lives within a higher vibrational energy. I am not saying she's perfect because there's no one on this planet who is perfect. But she's definitely someone who's reflected upon her path. She's definitely someone who has found her self-worth. She's believing in herself, believing in her creativity. The Empress takes those signs that our guides are always sending. She notices them, usually the first time. And even if it's something that could be like, again, like, okay, you're waiting for this communication to come in, but it just may not come in. Or if it does come in, it may just put you right back to, you know, where you're at right now, which doesn't feel good. Hmm. We have the King of Fire, King of Wands, inspirational. I'm trying to figure out what try. I don't know if that's a cherry blossom. He's under the Ten of Wands next to the Death card. We have Awakening. So this is the Hangman. Pause, perspective, selflessness. But anyway, the Hangman under the Two of Pentacles. I feel like when the Hangman is in, let's say, the pause energy, the Hangman's seeking wisdom. Like wisdom on this earthly plane. But I often feel like I'm seeking spiritual wisdom, but again, to use on this earthly plane. It feels like someone's very close to having an awakening. And let me tell you, if you're close to having an awakening, if there were, let's just say, any karma of a negative or difficult nature, let's put it that way, then of course it's going to come out. And the reason why is it honestly is an opportunity to pay that karma back. We have good karma, we have hard karma. And karma is what we create. You know what I mean? Like sometimes, maybe in a past life, maybe you were the one who kept someone like hanging on a hook. And in this lifetime, you needed to experience it. I mean, it's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. But then look at the beautiful Empress and think about the karma that she's creating. Wow. It's like, get out of the way. Ten of Swords, ten of Wands, and hello, awakening. All right, what else we have? The Five of Wands. Dang. We have the Six of Cups. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. There's one hiding underneath it. We have release. Now we have the Six of Cups. And then we have the Six of Swords. Wow. 66. It's a theme that's been running through the readings lately. Okay. Okay. I feel like I have to say that there are going to be some, let's just say, relationships that I don't feel have the opportunity to be saved. But the ones that I'm talking about, it is for your best. And I know it's hard to hear when you want what you want, right? But at the same time, not everybody's going to want us in the way that we want them. But keep in mind, again, remember those soulmates. Somebody will. What have you been learning from this energy? It's asking you to release it. How interesting that we have the death card and then we have release, endings, transformations, freedom. Actually, I feel like I got it backwards, like the tower and the death card. But everything on this side is so difficult. Now with the Five of Wands, that's fighting. That's ego. That's drama. Some of you may have been wanting someone to say they were sorry. But will they? Do they? I kind of don't feel like they do. But here's the thing. I feel like this is about you moving on. Like, honestly, I feel like this is too much. It's too much. And yes, I'm sure you're down and you're sad. And I feel like this reading wants you, if nothing else, to understand that there is more out there, right? It's you in the magician's energy. You put the magician and the empress together. Well, that would bring the chariot. That would bring unlimited potential. But you got to know that about yourself. In some of these difficult situations, sometimes they're our greatest teacher. And if it's karmic and you decide that enough is enough, well, I feel like lesson learned. Don't have to repeat that again. And now let's get on to good loving. Let's get on to this awakening. Even the Six of Swords. This is you moving on. Relief. Not release. Relief. That's what it gives you. Relief. Hope. And moving on. So, you're moving on from the Five of Swords, which is toxic energy. Well, it's all over this side. See what's on the bottom of the deck? Hello, dreamer. This is the Fool. beginnings, believing, protected. Look at this beautiful image. Like, this is really what it's like. You just don't know that. You can't see them. Well, not everyone. Some can. But whether you can see it or not, it doesn't matter. Whether you can feel it or not, they're still there. I feel like this is asking you to take a leap of faith on yourself and in your life. I feel like it's got to be pretty clear to what is no longer working, what is holding you back, what's keeping you in a state of sadness, and is there anything you can do about it? You know, if it's someone else's energy and they're just not playing along, well, then I feel like the best advice I could give you is to think about your own energy, right? Because this definitely feels like a lower vibrational energy. It just does. And the Empress doesn't live in lower vibrational energy. It's not that she can't handle it. Oh, she can go into that darkness with her light and she will point out the problem. She can handle it. But that's because of her vibration. Because of everything she's learned. So, I feel like your spiritual team is just saying, there's more. This is just the beginning of something new. But you do need to be willing to take that leap of faith. And I feel to take that leap of faith, you know, the Fool was about putting the past in the past, understanding it. To a point, I don't need to know why every cup has been knocked over. Some were free will, you know. Some just taught me what I don't want in love, or just in life. It does feel like you have special angels, like really trying to reach those who are in, you know, I want to say state of sadness, but again, it feels like it's something outside of your control. But I feel like your spiritual team is yelling, but this is just the beginning of the new. This is just the beginning of the new. Will you allow? Will you allow? See who's under the Fool. Ace of Wands. Inspired action. See what it says here. Opportunities, creativity, and action. Eight of Swords underneath that. Interesting. So it is literally like someone broke themselves free. It's like feeling the energy before the energy arrives. And then the full, beautiful energy of freedom in however you choose to use it. Protected. You know, I often feel that when you see the Fool in a lot of different tarot decks, you'll see them on a cliff and they have to take that leap hoping that they don't fall, right? But I feel like their angels are there, like, if you fall, we will catch you. All right, let's bring in the Gilded Tarot. His reading is very clear on why certain endings would serve you. And I also want to say, if someone just has you waiting and waiting and waiting for communication, I don't like that game. And I don't think you should either. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't mean that instantly, like, we fall in love. But you can definitely know if you're very, very honest with yourself. Excuse me. Listen, I just feel like who is worth your time and who is not worth your time. If you know your own value, or if you're figuring out your own value, then those who keep you hanging on a hook, I just don't feel like you're going to take it. I know the Empress wouldn't. Some of you literally just might be coming single. Could be, could be a marriage. Doesn't have to be. Could be just a commitment or what I had hoped was a commitment. Again, the Empress isn't going to just sit there and wallow in sorrow. She's not going to sit there and allow daggers to be put in her back. If I'm waiting for communication and it's not coming, well, then I'm on to the next. And I don't necessarily mean the next person. I'm just moving on. Moving on, which is the very last card. Interesting. The Six of Swords is mirroring the Two of Pentacles, though. So this is where you are questioning. You are seeking that wisdom. I feel like for some of you, this is your sign. And I feel like it's more than one sign, but it's really to help. I feel like number one, ease your mind. Number two, just to help you see your own worth. There is nothing wrong with saying that I don't wait for people or situations. How do I want to say this? I'm coming from the Empress's energy, and I feel like I would simply state that, if you had me waiting, if you're playing mind games with me, I don't care who it is. I feel like your days are numbered. Like their days are numbered. If not an instant cutting of ties. Sometimes I feel the instant cutting of ties may be the way we need to go, depending on who you're dealing with. Okay. Let's start at the beginning, but let's read it as a whole. So even though we have a little sadness in that Ace of Swords, kind of like this kid is dragging this sword along, it says inspiration, adjustments. We have the moon, card of Pisces, ruler of Cancer. It's also a feminine's energy. We have the King of Pentacles. King. I don't know. Don't know about you. Because it literally says release, which is mirroring him. King of Pentacles could certainly be a Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. But let me tell you something. I do feel like the King of Pentacles is the slowest moving king of all the kings. And I'm an earth sign. And I'm with an earth sign. And both of us move slow. But, what I'm really feeling is that this king is causing a lot of uncertainty in your life, in someone's life. And, it does not have to be an earth sign. For some reason, I'm feeling the slowness. like the almost non-action. Someone might have cut off communication, and it's like you don't know where you stand. But if you're honest with yourself, you do. You know, I can't make you, nor can your guides make you leave someone, but they'll certainly illuminate the issues. They'll make that clear. They'll help you feel, even if it's difficult to feel, because they know that there's more out there. So, whoever this king is, I do feel like we're saying bye bye. But let's keep going. I may come back and clarify him, but I don't know. I just feel like this king, by the way, can be a male or female. Um, I feel like this king has caused a lot of uncertainties in your life. We have Hermit, card of Virgo. We are in the year of the Hermit. Interesting how we have the Hangman down here, and it literally says awakening, right? But the Hangman hasn't quite reached that awakening yet. Wow. So we're in the year of the Hermit. We're in the year of reflection. We're in the year of asking ourselves, how do we want the next 9 years to be? We are closing out a 9 year chapter. And then we're moving into the year of the magician. Powerful. Who do you want to bring along? And who and what do you no longer need? It's coming over the Ten of Wands, so it's clearly illuminating that for you. You know, I feel like this talks about your spirituality. And, you know, sometimes the hermit is the energy of going through the dark night of the soul, but it is coming out with clarity. Often feel in the hermit's energy, you figure out that you can save your own life. And yes, your spiritual team is helping you, but you can't not help but see things the way they really are when we move into the hermit's energy over justice and the Ten of Wands, but is illuminating the Two of Pentacles. Oh my, look at this. Look what just flipped around. Your intuition. Ah, I get this feeling that there has been a period of time when I have not been paying attention to my intuition. You know, maybe I wanted things the way I wanted things, but they didn't turn out that way. It's interesting that the Hermit's lantern is illuminating that your intuition is in reverse. Doesn't mean that you don't have it, it just means you're not listening to it or you're not trusting it. Because I definitely feel like the signs have been sent. Like, I feel like there was probably a bunch of red flags over here. And listen, the human part of us ignores red flags a lot until we understand that these red flags are warnings. Like, dang. I say dang, but I feel like your intuition holds a secret here. You just have to believe it. By the way, we have the Fool on the bottom of the deck. So that speaks about a new journey opening up, a new path opening up. And you do need to take a leap of faith. And what I love is when you see the Fool, the first mentor along the Fool's journey is the magician. And the magician teaches the Fool that you possess everything you need to truly be successful, not only in this next journey, but in your whole life. And the second mentor the Fool meets is the High Priestess. And she says to the Fool, I am your GPS. Follow me. I am your light. I will guide you. You know, these are gifts we were given at birth, but we have to hone them in at the same time. Okay. Temperance. So, temperance, first of all, card is Sagittarius, but temperance's first message is patience. But I have a feeling the universe is being patient with you, to be honest. This is about trusting in divine timing, but it's coming over the Ten of Swords. So, if you remember, temperance really is about divine timing. There's no way temperance would be bringing in like ten new swords. But it's almost like temperance is holding this new this new journey until this old journey is understood to a point. Don't overthink it. And listen, I know when your heart is hurt, your heart is hurt. I know that. But I also know, and so do you, that if you just look back in your own life and think about the different relationships you're in, and a lot of times when one comes to an end, we're hurt. And then we meet someone else. And that hurt fades away. That's kind of what your spiritual team is asking you to reflect upon. Like, why am I giving someone so much when it doesn't feel like you're receiving back? It's a soul's lesson. It's almost like when you have this awakening, it's divine timing's time. And the awakening in this reading could simply mean that you're being very, very honest with yourself. You see things maybe through a different light, a different perspective. We have the Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles is your tree of life. That's the way I read it. I feel like every seed on that tree was meant to happen. And every other seed that has yet to come to fruition is also meant to happen. Some of these seeds teach us, which I feel some of you have been in quite a learning lesson. But what are you learning? What is this lesson? I feel like it's all about your self-worth. Knowing your self-worth. This isn't like your guide saying, we don't know if you're worthy of this. This is your guide saying, you're absolutely worthy of this, but you need to know that. So when I see the Seven of Pentacles coming right over a tower, it tells me that there was something important within that tower's energy that really is helping my soul to evolve, because I feel like it's like predestined. Why would my soul want to set this up in this lifetime? Why would my soul just want everything to be easy peasy? Well, because we're spiritual beings having human experiences. Our souls came down here to learn, to grow, to have adventures, to experience life in all forms. The strongest of souls, I feel, are the ones who ask for the hardest of lessons. I want to challenge my soul. I want to evolve. You know, life is short. Death is forever. And I say that because I often feel and I often see it in my mind's eye that when we leave this world, that as spiritual beings, I feel like we're all going to connect. And we're going to look at life like, oh, first of all, it was just a blimp. But let's say you're one of those souls who go back and you're a teacher of young souls. What did you learn in that lifetime? What was it like? What adventures did you have? Well, I didn't really have any adventures because I got stuck with this one person. And year after year after year after year, I kept hoping and waiting for it to come about, but it didn't. It just kept ending up in the same. And the young soul would say, why didn't you leave it? Well, what I should have done. Now, the Seven of Pentacles also speaks about what's yet to come. Said to me, and especially because the Fool's on the bottom of the deck, something new is opening up. And it is predestined also. Empress. Hello, sun. Over awakening, over the hangman. Beautiful. First of all, the sun mirroring temperance's energy, divine timing. The sun is your illuminator. You know, there's no way you're going to miss these signs. You can refuse them. You can say no. Again, with the high priestess in reverse, that's the only thing I worry about. Yet, I feel like the sun, because it is your illuminator, would make it very, very hard to deny the truth to yourself. That's all. Feels like it's the sun that gives you the courage then to move on, to put this behind you. You know, the sun's like a brand new day. Anything done in the dark will come to the light when the sun is out. We have both the feminine and the masculine energy here. We have the Empress again. What's she over? The King of Wands. Interesting. And below the King of Wands is Six of Cups. Memories, childhood, nostalgia. And if we think about the Empress's energy again, and if she's connecting to someone, let's say that she used to know, whether it be this lifetime or a past lifetime, first of all, the Six of Cups would bring happy memories to mind. Not these, not this type of energy over on this side. I almost feel like this reading needs to be split. And look how beautiful the Empress also has the Hermit above her. But the Hermit is sharing that beacon of light, great healing energy. So this sun, I feel like, is much like the Foal. It's illuminating your path. Even with your intuition in reverse, I feel like it still will reach you. But it's ultimately is going to be up to you. But I feel like that's kind of what Temperance is waiting for. And I feel like Temperance is saying when the sun is out, you do not need to worry about darkness. This isn't about moving into a dark period of your life. If anything, I think you're moving from a dark period in your life. The Nine of Pentacles. Wow. Independent success. I would expect nothing less from the Empress. The Sun can spark ideas spiritually. And then I could see the Empress creating from that energy. I feel like one of the ways our souls are, I don't know if this is the right word, but being used in this on this earthly plane is through our own experiences and then helping others like, okay, how did you overcome? Well, let me tell you. Let me help light your way. This is a very abundant energy, the Nine of Pentacles. By the way, two cards of Virgo. Um, but this is really standing on your own 2 feet. This is you making your own money. And by the way, if some of you have lost a job and maybe it's, again, probably what I didn't plan for it. Well, this is also showing you that maybe, just maybe, you know, I feel like when things come to an end, whether we ask for it or not, it's because there's something else waiting. There's something next. I definitely feel this reading is showing the potential of your growth. Some of you have already reached this energy of the Empress. Again, you naturally have it. That means, by the way, before you claim that I've reached it, that means your heart is open. That means you probably have forgiven. Doesn't mean you have to tell the person you forgave them, but you're not going to carry this heavy, heavy energy with you anymore, wherever it may have came from. So if I'm going to claim I'm the Empress, then I need to have a loving and nurturing heart. But remember, because the Empress has gone through these experiences and her vibration is of a higher vibration, she's nobody's fool. She doesn't even have to worry. Like if anybody comes across her that means her trouble, her alarms will go off. Those red flags will be everywhere. She doesn't need the red flags because this is someone who truly trusts within her intuition. Why? Because she knows that she's constantly being fed signs, epiphanies, ideas to create, to find true success. And you know what I love about the Nine of Pentacles? It's you reaping the benefits of your hard work. It's you, not other people. It's you. This is feeling independent within yourself. It does feel like a change of energy. It's almost like the sun has come in to help us, to change our energy, to reignite our intuition, to remind us of the power of us, to understand that even towers certainly can teach us and probably have. But ultimately, this is you landing on your 2 feet, upright, independent, strong, wise, creative, loving. I definitely feel like some of you, I do feel like you are taking the single route, at least for the moment. Um, what I'm hoping is for those who like know with the Ten of Swords and the Ten of Wands and the Tower and the release, if you know, which I feel like you probably do, um, think about that because that's really what opens everything up. All right, we have the beautiful magician again. Hello, star. Your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. Over the Six of Cups, by the way. And then the Four of Swords. Beautiful. This is healing. Moving and healing. It is this moving away from this difficult energy. It's showing you that you definitely will heal from it. It does take your human action. There's no doubt about that. It does take your human action. Some of you, again, you may be jumping in the car. You may be going to a new location. Listen, with the star under the Empress, I feel like it can be whatever I want it to be. Remember, the star is about your hopes, your dreams, your wishes, but it's about manifesting them. And you have the magician right beside it with healing on the other side of it. I find it interesting because I feel like how many years did I give over here where it was hardship and heartache and you name it, I went through it. And then when I simply said no more, look at everything that opens up over here. It's just amazing. Some of you may be reconnecting with someone from, let's just say, an earlier time. The Empress is coming over the King of Wands. So let's just say, to me, the King of Wands is action oriented. It's interesting where I said the King of Pentacles, slow, moving. King Pentacles, to me, and this is through my own experiences also, you know, definitely could be the type of person who just turns off communication. And a lot of times they don't even understand. Well, I shouldn't say that. They understand what they're doing. But I guess it is their right. Right? I mean, we do have to look at that. Like everyone has their right, everyone has their free will. But that doesn't mean we have to accept it. And I feel like you have for a while. Now, I feel like it's back to you. And it's interesting because even the Six of Cups, where it could certainly talk about, well, it does talk about happy memories, childhood, nostalgia. And then the star coming over that. I'm wishing for that. But with the Empress, she's very clear, right? She's very clear with her wishes. And I don't mean like she's giving details of what something or someone must look like. She's talking about the vibration of it. Can I just say, I feel like this is good karma. This is good karma. This feels like it was meant to be. This was meant to be too, but this was meant to teach. This is meant to help you find your self-worth. And yeah, sometimes it's through the most difficult of lessons, but it's nothing that your soul cannot handle. I'm telling you, there's nothing in this lifetime. What's that saying? God doesn't put more on our plate than what we can handle. But we're in it. Sometimes we're like, well, that's not true. But it is true. It is true. And I know. Because there's a lot of things, not a lot of things, but there's a few things I didn't know how I was going to handle. But God definitely helped me. So, you're manifesting through the Empress's energy. That talks about high vibration, but also your spirituality. It's like an important component of who you are now. I also love the sun right next to you and this healing. I feel like the sun's main message is to turn that intuition around. Trust it. Because you can literally make dreams come true. Listen, we can dream for one thing and it may not come true. But if it doesn't come true, chances are it wasn't meant to come true. Maybe it was just there to teach us, to help us to evolve. Over here, this feels well, like hell and heaven. Okay. Um, I'm just, I'm looking around thinking, is there anything I want to clarify? Because I'm pretty clear now with the King of Pentacles, male or female, by the way. I just feel like it's like no communication, lack of everything, really. Um, okay, so now we have the Knight of Wands. But what I was going to say, so in my mind, what I was thinking is I'm just going to take some cards across the table. So we have the Knight of Wands. Well, that's passion rushing in, my friends. That's passion rushing in. This can be a fast moving night. It is a fast moving night. Now you can control it. You can slow it down, but passion it carries. Um, I would love your opinion also of the deck and what you think of them. We have the Two of Wands. It is showing in reverse though, but in a way I don't really feel it reversed. It didn't come face up reversed, and that's usually the way I read. Like if it comes face up in reverse, I leave it that way. If it's not, if it comes reversed face down, then I let my intuition really determine whether I feel like it. It kind of doesn't feel like it, so I am going to turn it back around because I feel like it's moving right from the fool's energy through divine's energy, and it's divine who's sending in this passion, something that ignites your soul, and then it's you stepping upon that path, which makes me very happy, by the way. Look at this, the Eight of Cups. You're letting go of yesteryear. You're letting go. This is a great energy to see right now because I feel like where this has been affecting you is in your emotional house. Well, also your thoughts, but I feel like your thoughts have been more like maybe I'm not worthy, but that's just not true. So the Eight of Cups is finding that emotional clarity. Again, I don't need to look at every cup. And the person in the Eight of Cups is heading towards the Nine of Cups. That, my friends, is inner harmony and fulfillment of wishes. It is like, again, good reward coming because of the willingness to look within that emotional house, clear it. And I mean that in a way of not allowing it to come between you and your dreams anymore. An eight is a new beginning, but it's also the number of infinity, as above, so below. Again, you do not walk alone. Like I would talk to your spiritual team all the time. I do. I've even, and this happens all the time to me. I'll say like something in a reading, like a particular line, a saying, or something like that. And then, when I settle down at night, Sam and I are watching TV or watching a show, I swear that 9 out of 10 times the reading or the readings I did that day are confirmed to me by seeing something of what I spoke about. I mean, I have Sam pause the TV all the time and I'd be like, oh my God, I just talked about that in our reading. And then we'll continue on, watch a show, and I'll be like, pause. Oh my God, I just talked about that in our reading. It happens all the time. And to me, it's just my guides letting me know that I am on the right path. And what I mean by that is like what I was picking up um, was correct. So we get the Seven of Wands, standing your ground. But I have to tell you, I feel like this is you helping others. This is you helping others to defend off attacks, helping put out other people's fires. Again, doing exactly what I feel we're here for, to learn, but also to help others. That's a big component. Or let's put it this way, when you help another, and especially when you do it when you really don't expect anything in return, you do it from the love of your heart. Well, again, you're just creating good karma for yourself. And you will see that return. Okay. I think I'm going to leave that there, but I'm going to add the clarifying love situations. Okay. I wish my cards didn't slide around so much. All right. We shall take them as they came. Spirit speaks. Seek wisdom in prayer, but also have open dialogue. Did I not just say that? Wow. Storms of love. Conflict is an opportunity for growth and change. Do you think our spiritual teams are listening? Prickly defenses. Barriers caused by past hurts block you. Be patient. Barriers caused by past hurts block you. Be patient. That's what Temperance asks for, patience, right? I mean, I feel like our spiritual team is paying attention. Not only paying attention, but I feel like they're helping to usher out these messages. Wow. It might just be me, but I feel like I need to say thank you. All right. Let's bring out the romance angel since we do have A little bit of love in here. Let's remember in the Five of Cups again, when I stop focusing on what I have lost, it really is the promise of these two cups. But will I automatically notice them? Well, that's why I feel like as you evolve and you understand that the sun is here to illuminate your intuition, then I don't feel like you miss it. Like, I feel like you'll see the signs, you'll follow the signs, and I feel like you're going to be very excited. All right. Oh, excuse me one second. Okay, sorry about that. I got a knock at the door. Come and knock at my door. All right, one more shuffle. Let's get my cards. I feel like I did all this, but wow. Stay optimistic about your love life. Positive thinking and faith will bring you romance. Stay positive. Well, hello, soulmate. So, literally, when I told you those two cups sitting behind the three cups that have been knocked over, by the way, all of a sudden I feel like someone may have given someone like three chances. Well, three chances and you're out. Literally, here is that soulmate I was talking about. Yes, this is your soulmate. We have free yourself. It's time to take back control of your life. This has been a repeated message at least 5 times. So, I feel like we cannot deny it anymore. But this is freedom. Let go of control issues. Allow the situation to unfold naturally. I can understand why your spiritual team would send that out. I feel like that's more for those again who have found themselves. I just feel like saying like in a shitty relationship, um, and freeing yourself from that. And I feel like loving again can be a scary thing. And I'm not even going to say it's going to happen right away. I really feel like it's more up to you. You know what I mean? Because I feel like when you know your self-worth. You trust your intuition. You know that you can manifest a good life for yourself. Some of you are becoming independent, but it's the best thing I feel like that could happen for you. And I feel like this soulmate energy, it's what lies along this path. I do feel like it's connected to the Six of Cups, though. I'm not going to say for everyone, though I do want to remind you that it can certainly talk about past lives. I do a lot of past life readings. It's one of my favorite readings to do. And it reminds me of the past life reading that I just did. There's a lot of similarities in here. But anyways, it's like it's showing you. It's almost like giving you the steps, right? Spirit speaks. Seek wisdom in prayer, but also have an open dialogue. Conflict is an opportunity for change and growth. And then look what opens up when all this change starts to take place. Number one, the star cards here. It's your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. But it's not magic. Like, it takes our human action I feel like working hand in hand with divine, that's how you manifest the type of life you really want. But be open. Sometimes your soulmate, let's say a soulmate that you're going to spend the rest of your life with, may be completely different than what you expect. But here's another thing to consider. If you yourself have raised your vibration, well, then the law of attraction means that what comes in for you must also be of that vibration. And if for any reason it's not, I'm telling you, your guides will make sure. Well, first of all, I don't feel like it's going to happen, but I feel like your guides are going to make sure that at least the opportunity for some of these dreams to become your reality manifest. But they can't do it without you. They can't do it without you. Okay, I'm gonna let that be. It's funny. I thought I should just do a short little reading. This is probably over an hour, but it's just the way it was meant to be, I guess. But I am gonna leave it there. I would love to hear your feedback. What do you think about the deck? We'll use it more and more, get to know it better and better. Um, I have to say that I am impressed by it. Again, I was guided towards it. And I'm always looking at decks, and it takes a lot for me to really buy a deck. So, but what a story it told. What a story it told. And that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see if it could tell the story as, you know, the truth. All right. I'm going to let that be, guys. I love you. I honestly can't wait to hear your feedback. I'd like to know like how you resonate with the reading. Um, I want to know what you think about the cards, but in a reading sense of the way, I feel like they're pretty clear. And yeah, a lot of times they don't read cards exactly like what their meaning is. I use my intuition, but what a story it told. Literally, it's like gone from hell to heaven, but heaven here on earth. All right, guys, I love you. I thank you. I'll see you next time at our table. Bye bye.